Everybody, I'm Coach Lori with MindScapes Unlimited Mind Coaching Center, and I'm the founder and owner of the Rapid Results coaching program and audio series. And today in my Rethinking Reality series, I'd like to talk to you about reversing the process of problematic programming. What is programming? I guess that would be the best first question to start with. Programming, in my opinion, is what happens when we shape our mind, our thinking processes. Programming, like we're like a computer, right? And we input this software, and this software shows us how to function, how to do things. Programming is useful from the standpoint of there are so many decisions to make in a day. How does a person know what to do? How can they make a decision? They can do that much more easily by having some guiding principles. As children, we establish these guiding principles by learning things in an analogy of what's right, wrong, good, bad, should, shouldn't, right? Do this and then you will get this kind of analogies. And that's good from a standpoint because when you consider being a child and, in the United States of America, where many of us are taught to brush our teeth, hygiene is taught. And in that, we learn that the belief system is if you brush your teeth in the morning and you brush them at night, sometimes after you eat, even midday, it's a good thing because what will happen is that it will help you prevent cavities and it will help you have healthy teeth, right? So good hygiene is a good thing. And in that analogy, that's programming, all right? So then we learn routines and we're able to do certain things. Now, the benefit of routine, you no longer, after a period of time, initially when you're told to brush your teeth, you're not feeling good about it. A little kid just says, no, I don't want to do it. I want to play, right? And so they feel uncomfortable at first, but then somebody tells them, repeat over and over again. This is what you do, and this is what you should do. Most parents will say, you go brush your teeth, and that's what you should do, and don't ask me any questions, and there's no discussion in this. However, that's not the best approach when we understand why we do what we do. Not that it's right, wrong, good, bad, should, shouldn't. It's that when you brush your teeth, you have healthy teeth, and having healthy teeth prevents painful cavities, having to have fillings older in life, and so now you get to choose, do you want to have all your teeth pulled and have health, or do you want to have healthy teeth? And then we develop a very healthy thought process, all right? And so that's what programming is. Programming teaches us how to do certain things. When I think of another benefit of programming, it's, when I think of a situation that happened recently, is that, there's a group of people in an environment that I'm in, and there are some offenses that were going on. And people there was confusion going on. They didn't know the process and they didn't know how things were supposed to function. What should I do, right? And this isn't about, pointing fingers and judging people because they didn't do things the way that they should do them, or that you have to create something that people should, like Pied Pipers, conform to. I like to think of it along the lines of the analogy of etiquette. Years ago, I was a trainer and I went into many different businesses. I was a I still am a motivational speaker, but one of the topics I taught on then was etiquette. And in learning about etiquette, what was interesting to teach about that is that most people didn't understand, when they thought about etiquette, was taught in the palaces in the olden days over in Europe. And the reason why they developed it wasn't that the people in the palace wanted to make other people conform to their proper way of doing things. It had everything to do with the people from the outside wanted to be able to feel comfortable and feel like they fit in. So they wanted to understand what to do. So they were taught etiquette. They were taught when you walk in the door, this is what you do, gentlemen bow, and ladies, they curtsy. This is how you eat. These are the forks you use. This is how you place you prepare a table setting. All right. And it was just so that people could feel comfortable. They just knew what to do. And when you know what to do, the rules, you just build your confidence. You just feel better about it. When you're uncertain, you develop fears and you get nervous and you have some anxiety and those things. And that's why we clarify what the rules are, what the guidelines are in those processes. And it makes life easier. Routines make life easier. They just do. Too much coming in at us in a day's time to make decisions in. And so if you can shortcut that by having some processes, some guiding principles, it just makes life easier. Now, that's the good part of it. Here's the downside, and what I call problematic programming. We are like computers, and we have viruses in our head. And what I mean by viruses is that, you have belief systems that were created. Again, I reiterate: should, shouldn't, must, have to, right, wrong, good, bad, right? Those are like almost as if they're absolutes. And in those absolutes in our thinking, in our belief system, a lot of times they've been ingrained in our head from people in our life. And if you don't do it that way, you have fear, and you're not going to be accepted, or you're going to be ousted, or things like that. Many of my clients come from very abusive backgrounds, very abusive homes. They've been oppressed religiously, or they've been oppressed by abusive parents, even ousted in certain social kinds of environments because of their beliefs, right? And how heartbreaking that is. And what happens in many of those instances is I'll use an example of something that's a really heated topic right now, and it's the presidential candidacy that's going on in the United States of America. You can say, some people feel that they should vote for the man, and some people feel that they will vote for the woman. And I'm not even going to say the names because that even has a trigger in some people's minds. And what will happen is people, they have, many people will just make a decision that that's who they want to vote for without really, really diving in and understanding what's behind their truth and their rationale. And some of them were raised in homes. Let's say some men might have been raised in homes that were very chauvinistic or hierarchy kind of dominance, believing that men are superior to women and women are subordinate to men, kind of a thing, and that men should be in places of leadership, and they are better in that place. Or then you can have a woman's perspective that was raised in a very forward thinking, women liber kind of environment, very independent thinking, and they say that they want a woman. It's about time we have a woman in that position. Many different beliefs and many different reasons, but a lot of times those people will have those thinking patterns based on what family did, and that means my family always voted Republican, or my family always voted Democrat, and then it just continues on down the line, and then they just become repeaters because that's just what felt comfortable. Not that that was the best interest of all people, and not even that it even aligned with all of their real true hearted belief systems, right? Overall. So that's what happens is we become programmed, and then we make decisions and we respond based on that programming, which is often a knee-jerk reaction to our feelings, right? It's just kind of a gut reaction in that. Programming becomes corrupt. When it becomes corrupt, I call corrupt programming when it starts to cause things that happen within your life, like conflict in relationships. You're argumentative, or you're feeling very offended by people easily, or you're very reactive, or you get angry, or you lose your temper, or you feel frustrated, overwhelmed, and stressed out very, very easily, and you're not able to manage your emotions, or maybe you're feeling very, very moody, or even just foggy-headed and unable to make decisions. And a lot of times, moving fast forward in that ill at easeness in life causes disease, all right? So I'm going to give you another example of how this belief system is shaped and how it becomes problematic. We get stuck in our belief systems, and we don't want to open our mind to something new because our mind says, I'm comfortable here. I kind of want to camp out here. I kind of want to stay here. All right. And so for an example of like genetics, right? The old belief of genetics was that you can't change your genetics, your DNA, you're stuck with that, right? It is what it is, what it is. So if you are birthed in from this family line and it's an unhealthy family line, maybe they have, cancer, history of cancer, or history of heart disease, or history of diabetes or something like that, you're panicking because the medical system said it's now passed on from generation to generation, and you better have all of these tests, and you better be warned, and you better fit right within these dynamics, because if you don't, you're in trouble, right? And then you have fear, and those kinds of things can escalate, right? And then you have the other thought, if you read a book called Anatomy of Belief, and in that book, the belief is, and it's been proven, this gentleman has been in scientific research well over 30 years, and he proves that genetics are not stuck. They're not locked in as what was previously thought, and that what you think can change your genetics, what you think can change your health and affect those kinds of things. And he scientifically proves it. Now, there are some people that might be listening to this video and saying, yeah, right? And that's proof of problematic programming right there, because your mind isn't open to it. Your mind isn't saying, okay, I'm going to take a look at that and I'm going to research, because if you say it's not possible or I can't do something, boom, the door is shut, closes, your answer is no. And then you won't move forward in it. And so that's your truth. And it is truth to you, because it will prove itself out in your life, because that's what you believe, if that makes sense. Okay. So you really limit your potential when you limit an open mind into looking at certain areas that are really important to be able to expand that understanding in it. Okay. If that makes sense. When I think of the necessity, what necessitates that, I think of our cultural conflict. I love the fact that I live in the United States of America, and I love the fact that we have many different belief systems here, many different religions, we have many different races, we have many different cultures, we have many different beliefs of, male and female, kinds of things. And in that, what I value a lot is the fact that each of these bring in a fresh perspective of what this world is, this universe is. Bottom line, we're all human beings being human. We're all doing the best we can with what we have, with what we know from where we're at. We all were born a human being, not a religion. A human being, not a knowledge of gender. A human being, not knowing of race, right? I think of my daughter when I raised her. Her favorite baby doll that she had was beautiful black African American, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to offend anybody in the terms, but beautiful black baby doll, right? And I said nothing of it. I mean, she picked it out, she loved it. I went, yay! There's no differentiation in that. However, some members of the family made comments about that, and her awareness was now different because they brought it to her attention, whereas she never knew that before. And so we teach fear. We teach what's right, wrong, good, bad, should, shouldn't. And what's right in one culture might not be right in another, right? What's right in one home may not be right in another. And then we have these wars over it, like it's the end of the world, because somebody, does something different than what we do. And I'm not even going to throw out some examples in that, because I don't want to trigger people on it. Just be aware that there is this programming, and there are a bunch of people that have inflated egos saying, what's right and wrong and good and bad, and figure out what it is for you, and walk in that and respect other people in it while they're in it too. Understand that we're all programming, that we're all products of our environment, of our upbringing, and of our education, and of our personalities. We all have different callings, right? We're not all here to do the same things. We're not here to represent the same things, right? Some people are protectors, some people are light workers, some people are healers. You know, there's a whole variety of people here that are here together, working together for a certain purpose. And when we can respect each other in that process, I believe our world will be a much better place when we understand that, right? When we understand that we're all programmed. It's kind of like programming is like over the years, you have a horse and a cart, and you've been going in the mud and rolling in those cart and then those wheels for a very, very long period of time, and then they get to be in deep ruts. And it's very, very difficult to change that. I have tools that I use. One of them is hypnosis that is able to help my clients change and get out of those ruts. And then rethinking their reality, really looking at things from a whole different perspective, thinking outside of the box. And sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So you need somebody, you need a fresh perspective and of an unbiased party who is wise and a wise advocate on your behalf that will allow you to be safe and think what it is that you want to think. And then will also maybe challenge you to look at a fresh perspective in what it is that you're thinking so that you can start carving a whole new narrow pathway. When you're so stuck in your limiting beliefs, you lock yourself and limit yourself from really, being as prosperous and abundant as you can be. The other thing I find out is that you end up having not so good relationships. You end up being you criticize others, you judge others, you blame other people for things that are going on in your life, and that's not healthy either, right? If you were to think about the story of the baby kitten and the baby bird, I love this analogy because it really puts our world in perspective. And what happens is that you've got the mama bird that has its baby birds in the nest and is keeping them, safely up in the nest and caring for them. And then you have the mama kitten that is raising its little kitten to survive on its own and how to hunt. And the little kitten breaks away and gets into the nest of the baby birds when mama bird is gone and eats one of the baby birds. And the mama bird flies back and says, "Get out of here, you naughty, naughty kitten." And then the naughty kitten gets out of there and goes back to its mama bird, and its mama bird goes, "Good little kitten." And so, that's in life sometimes. What one culture thinks is right, another culture thinks is wrong. And we fight to try to prove it. And some things are hostile and some things are dangerous and some things are really worth standing up for, as history proves. And that sometimes we just get so flippin' blown out of proportion over the littlest, simplest things. It's not life and death. And I find that we have become oftentimes a very opinionated, reactive kind of people that aren't understanding one another anymore. We're in a spiritual deficit. We've lost our love and our oneness and understanding that we're all here with a purpose, and dualities are essential. We need opposites. If we didn't have hot, we wouldn't know what was cold, right? If we didn't have war, we wouldn't appreciate peace. There's an understanding that is shaped in this crazy dynamic of this world, and something good can come out of everything. And so here's some tips that I have for you to reduce that problematic programming and start having yourself have just a better inner peace. A better love for the world and a better appreciation of the world. And so the first thing is eliminate, as you get older, eliminate right, wrong, good, bad, should, shouldn't way of thinking. Just look at the systems and notice what causes you to feel badly and say, is this what I really want? And what do I want? And how can I live my life? What is my truth? And really start shaping that yourself. Take away everybody else that has ever shaped things and give yourself permission to rise up that inner authenticity of who you are in that. So that you can move forward in a healthier, happier, and more passionate and purposeful way. Judgmental thinking. Get rid of trying to decide what is good or bad in it, and decide what is best, right? What is best in this situation? How can we function right now given the information that we have? Another thing is calm yourself down. When your brain is way out of whack and you are way overwhelmed and overthinking things, you are winged out in your emotional hemisphere of your brain, and you are moving down into the abyss of your mind, and you'll end up being like a hamster going round and around and around in the wheel, going nowhere fast, right? And you lose all consciousness of reality, right? It's tornadic, and it's very, very unhealthy. And so learning some really good stress management tools, some good breathing techniques to shut down the thinking patterns that you're caught up in, and then being able to just relax and calm yourself for a period of time, so then eventually you can get into that more logical, rational thinking. I believe good comes out of everything. Everything's a teacher, right? And so even when you're looking at the tremendous disparity in the world that is heart-wrenching, and trust me, I'm an empath, I feel it. It can tear you apart. Yet when you look at that, and if you get overwhelmed by every single thing that is going on in the world, there's a lot, you fill up your brain with it, and you have no space left to see anything good. So you have a choice. Can you look at what's good, and then can you look at what you can do, and can you pick something? Not everything, because you'll drive yourself nuts. You can't do everything, but who are you? What are you most passionate about? And dive into that. Do something with that. Take a step in that direction and be okay with that, not consumed by being a do-all and do all things for all people. It doesn't work, okay? It doesn't work. You're created very, very unique. You have a unique thumbprint, a unique you. And once you recognize what that is and you move forward in that, oh man, life just it just makes more sense. It's easier. And I'm not saying you don't have challenges and difficulties and heart-wrenching moments and experiences and struggles in life. You just are at peace in the midst of it more. You are able to endure and survive it more. It doesn't overconsume you and bury you. And that's the difference. You're able to have a fresh perspective each and every day, and have hope that everything is going to come together and it's going to work out somehow in some way. And then you have peace in it, and you can find joy in the midst of all of the tragedies and the sadness. It's sometimes hard to explain, but it's there once you understand it. And then you're able to be thankful and grateful. Every day when you wake up, you're thankful and grateful. Why? Because there's teachers all around you. There's a presence of a universal power that is out there that wants to help you and assist you, and you help you to get to know it, and then help you get through whatever this is that you're here to learn, and do and be, and have, right? And that's the beauty of it all. And there you have it. This is Coach Lori talking to you today about reversing the process of negative programming. Know that, I wish you abundant blessings in this world. I wish you all that, God's created you to be and do. And I just want you to know that I love you so very much. And you matter. You matter to me. You matter to God. You matter to the world. God bless.